Kylian Mbappe has finally left Paris Saint-Germain for Real Madrid. It seems to have been a transfer that's been rumoured for at least the last 4 or 5 seasons, but it's now finally happened. Mbappe initially signed on loan for the 2017-18 season with a mandatory transfer for around €180 million at the end of that season. In his 7 seasons at PSG, Mbappe played 308 games in all competitions and scored 256 goals. In his time at PSG, Mbappe won Ligue 1 6 times, the Coupe de France 4 times, but the one trophy that eluded both Mbappe and PSG has been the Champions League. So the obvious aim for this 5-season rebuild is to try and win the Champions League. Let's see how we got on. So we're beginning at the end of the 23-24 season. As you can see, PSG won the title. In real life, everything matches up with that as far as the league is concerned. The only things that don't match up are the cup competitions, because that can't be done, and the playoff result is not necessarily going to be right when that's being played. As you can see, looking at the squad, there is now no Kylian Mbappe in that squad. He has departed for Real Madrid. And looking at what we've got available, it's not an awful lot. Hopefully there's still a budget to come, but with 22 million transfer budget, nothing in the wage budget. Hopefully that's going to change before we get to the start of season 1. So we're now at the end of the summer transfer window. At the start of season 1, not an awful lot has happened transfer-wise. We've sold Renato Sanchez to a Saudi Arabian club for 7.25 million. And the only incoming transfer, we picked up Rafa Varane after he left Man United. Quality player, getting on a bit injury prone, but we can just add him as a bit of depth alongside the likes of Marquinhos and Skriniar and Hernandez and Kimpembe. Hopefully it should solidify us going forward. Tactically, we're going with something a bit weird. We're not going with a centre forward, largely because what I actually want is I want to be able to put Xavi Simons into the team. I want to be able to put Warren Zaire-Emery into the team. I want Fabian in the team, and no way that I do it other than this is that would they be coming into the team, because if you put a centre forward in, one of them doesn't go into the team, and I want Simons and Zaire-Emery in there to try and develop into the players that we obviously know that they can be. So we'll see how this goes. It might be a 1-season thing. It might actually even get chopped off halfway through the season, but we'll see what happens. Looking at the season preview, obviously we are big favourites for the title. We do have every player in the media dream 11, and so far things have gone pretty well. We started the season with the trophy to champion and won comfortably 4-1. We were 4-0 up at half-time in that game. We beat Brest 1-0. We beat Nice 4-0 away from home with a hat-trick from Fabian. We beat Angers 9-0 at home with a couple of goals for Vitinha, a couple of goals for Xavi Simons, and then we spread the rest of the goals around. And then a big one, the most recent game, we came away with a 1-0 victory away at Marseille, a goal from Xavi Simons. Unfortunately, he picked up an injury in that game, but I don't think it's going to be too bad. And then obviously we are in the Champions League, and we've not had the best of draws as far as the league phase is concerned. We've got Chelsea, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Barcelona. So they're 4 pretty tough games. Hopefully the Anderlecht, PSV, Fiorentina and Ajax games are enough to see us through to the knockout stages, ideally in the top 8, so we missed the last 16. But let's go ahead, simulate season 1 and see what happens. So the end of season 1, and I think slightly disappointing. Obviously we've won the league, and we've won the league pretty comfortably looking at that. We made it to the semi-finals of the Champions League before we were knocked out by Real Madrid, and the less said about the Coupe de France, the better, I think. I mean, looking at the league, we've been top since the second game of the season, so we've truly dominated that. We've ended up winning by 11 points. Nuno Mendes and Marco Asensio, the sort of star players in the league, they're top of the average ratings. Xavi Simons right up there for goals, despite the fact that we didn't play with a striker for pretty much the whole season. Vitinha right up there for assists, and then Donnarumma's kept 22 clean sheets in 34 games. We lost 2 games all season, one away at Nantes, he finished 11th, and one against Lens, He finished third. And we only dropped 2 points at home all season with that draw against Metz, which is, we've drawn twice against Metz, yet they finished 17th and been relegated by 10 points. Doesn't seem to make an awful lot of sense there. So, Champions League, in the league phase, we qualified really reasonably comfortably. We finished fourth. We won 5 games, beating Ajax, Fiorentina, PSV, Anderlecht and Atletico, drawing with Real Madrid, drawing with Chelsea, and the one defeat was away at Barcelona. Because we finished in the top 8, obviously it meant we skipped the playoff round and went straight into the last 16, where we were drawn against Bayer Leverkusen. We won the first leg 2-0. They won the second leg 2-1. We went through 3-2 on aggregate. In the quarterfinal, we played Man United. First leg was 2-2. Second leg, we won 2-1 to go through 4-3 on aggregate. And then in the semi-final, again, the first leg was 2-2 against Real Madrid. And unfortunately, the second leg at the Bernabeu didn't go as we would want. And we had the perfect opportunity to get off to a great start, but missed a penalty in the 4th minute. And then who else but Kylian Mbappe pops up in the 9th minute to put them 1-0 up. Vinicius Jr. made it 2 in 18 minutes. And then if you look at the match stats, we didn't really get back into the game to really even threaten them in terms of being able to make it through to the final. They then did go on and win the final, beating Liverpool 2-1. So we entered the Coupe de France in the 9th round. We beat Red Star 4-0 in that round. But then in the 10th round, we went out on penalties against Marseille. I mean, we just really didn't turn up at all. We were 2-0 down. And then Dembele got 2 goals to get us back into the game. And then Asensio and Simons, who have been 2 of our better players all season, missed penalties in the shootout. What you will see from that is that we did do some transfer business. So having only signed Rafa Varane during the summer, in January we went to Arsenal and spent 127 million on Bukayo Saka. And by and large, if you look at his average ratings and you look at his performances, it was a great signing. It's a one for the future because obviously he's still only 23. He's only going to get better. And if we can pair some other good players around him, hopefully this is a sign that he could possibly help us to win the Champions League. Looking at the squad stats, we've lacked goals pretty much, you would say. I mean, we've got Xavi Simons with 20, Fabian with 17, Kolo Muani with 14. Most of the time he's coming off the bench. Dembele with 12. Maybe not having that one out-and-out number 9 has kind of cost us, so we might need to revisit that for next season. I mean, Saka's come in half a season, got 6 goals and 8 assists, so they're promising signs for the future. I mean, obviously we've won the league and we would expect to win the league every season, but we've disappointed ourselves in the French Cup and the Champions League. Would we necessarily have expected to knock out Real Madrid? Maybe it's not, but we definitely had a chance, which makes the way we went out probably a bit worse. But looking ahead to next season, we've got 120 million in the transfer budget. We've got 443,000 available in the wage budget, so there's plenty of room to manoeuvre. We should hopefully be able to bring in a couple of decent players that will help progress the club. Going into season 2, we've seen a couple of big outgoings and some very big incomings as well. So firstly, in terms of the outgoings, a lot of players left it from freeze at the end of the contract that were going to be nowhere near the first team picture. And then Rafa Varane, so we obviously signed him for nothing last season. We've sold him for up to 59 million at the age of 32. It seemed too good a deal to turn down. And then Marco Asensio was concerned about the number of other players that had come in already who could play in his position. So he went out to Barcelona for 36 million. And then the incomings. Firstly, we decided after the end of season 1 that we hadn't scored enough goals and the strikerless formation had to go. So we splashed the cash and brought in Victor Osimhen from Napoli for 97 million. We've then brought in João Felix to provide a bit of guile behind the front man and try and create some more chances. And then with Varane going, we've also picked up Goncalo Inacio from Sporting just to give us that extra depth in the central defence again. Tactically, we're going with almost a 4-3-3. We moved the player from the left inside one to be an attacking midfielder just to fit João Felix in behind the front man. If we pick the best 11, So João Felix goes straight into the team. Osimhen goes straight into the team. Inacio doesn't. Lucas Hernandez and Marquinhos are still seen as the best centre-halves. Looking at the season preview, we are still big favourites, but not as big a favourite as we were last season. I think last season it was 10-1 on. This season it's 4-1 on. Again, we do have the full selection in the Media Dream 11. And then, as far as the season's concerned, so we started the season with the trophy to champion and a comfortable victory, 3-0 against Monaco. However, in the opening league game, less than a week later, we went to Monaco and lost 2-1. We were leading 1-0, and they scored in the 82nd, and then a 93rd minute penalty from Golovin saw us lose our opening league game of the season. We managed to beat Rennes 1-0, not the best of performances, but followed that up with a 2-0 victory against Lille and a 3-0 victory at home against Nice. As far as the Champions League is concerned, we've definitely got a difficult start to the league phase. We've got Liverpool away in the opening game, followed up by Juventus and Real Madrid at home. But after that, with maybe the exception of Atletico, the fixtures do start to get a bit easier. So hopefully we can again finish in that top 8 and make it through to the round of 16, or at least at the very least we should be finishing in the top 24 and making it through to the knockout stages. So let's go ahead and simulate season 2 and see how we get on. So, season 2 over and done with, and about on a par with season 1, to be honest. We've comfortably won the league. Lost one game all season, which was away at Monaco, who obviously finished second. We drew 3 games all away from home. We won every home game in the season. Champions League, we made it to the round of 16 and ran into Man City and the Coupe de France runner-up. So looking at the league, first of all, Saka, by far and away the outstanding player in the league. Average rating over 8, 18 goals for second top goal scorer, 17 assists for the most assists in the league, 15 player of the matches, more than double anyone else. Donnarumma win 19 clean sheets as well. So the Champions League phase didn't go brilliantly. We didn't make it into the top 8, so we didn't skip the knockout playoff round. We won 5 games. We beat PSV, we beat Borussia Mönchengladbach, we beat Atletico, we beat Austria Vienna, and we beat Ajax. We drew with Juventus, but lost to Real Madrid and Liverpool, which saw us finishing 10th and obviously have to go into the knockout playoff round, where we were drawn against Galatasaray. In the end, it was pretty comfortable. We won the first leg 4-1, won the second leg 3-0, which saw us through to the round of 16. The first leg we lost 2-1, and then the second leg was a wild game. They went 2-0 up. We pulled a goal back. They went 3-1 up. We pulled a goal back. Then we made it 3-3 on the night, which made it 5-4 to them on aggregate. And then they got 2 late goals from Matheus Nunes and from Lionel Messi. I mean, it should be illegal to put Messi in that team with De Bruyne, Silva, Haaland, Foden. But in the end, they were just too strong for us. And we headed out of the Champions League at the round of 16 stage. And then the Coupe de France, round 9, we came in with a really comfortable 5-0 victory against Lille. The 10th round, we just snuck past Nîmes 1-0. The 11th round, again, just snuck back past Nantes 3-2. The quarter-final, we hammered Caen 7-0. The semi-final, we hammered Lyon 6-1. And then in the final, we got done by Monaco. We actually took an early lead as well. We were 1-0 up after 12 minutes. They got a penalty and then 2 goals in the second half. And if you look at the match stats, you would have to say it's probably a fair result. We didn't seem to be at the races at all in that game. Looking at the player stats, I mean, Saka just outstanding. 25 goals and 31 assists. So 56 goal involvements in 48 games in total. Osimhen with 25 goals in 37 games. Kolo Muani popped up with 17. Carlos Soler with 13 and 11. Warren Zaire-Emery with 11 and 14. Felix with 10 and 13. And another couple of players in double figures for assists as well. Certainly a lot better than last season. Obviously, having a proper front man has paid dividends as far as the goal scoring side of things is concerned. And then looking ahead to season 3, we've got 203 million in the transfer budget and nearly 1.5 million in the wage budget. So we should be able to improve this squad even further before season 3. Going into season 3, we had that huge transfer budget and we went very, very big in the transfer window. In terms of the outgoings, first of all, not much of note except we sold Randall Kolo Muani to Milan for up to 91 million. And then the incomings, we started with a couple of free transfers at the end of the contracts. Firstly, Mark Gahey just to come in to add some extra solidity in the centre of defence, another option there as well. And then we needed a backup goalkeeper, so we signed Edouard Mendy at the end of his contract in Saudi Arabia just to back up Donnarumma. And then we went really big. We had over 200 million in the transfer budget prior to selling Kolo Muani, and we basically spent the whole budget on bringing Jude Bellingham to the club. Just outstanding player, can play in that centre field, can play behind the front man, can play in the defensive midfield role if we really are desperate. And to say he's hit the ground running, 6 goals in 6 games. And then, having sold Kolo Muani, we had a bit of extra money available. And Kolo Muani had been used mostly from a wide area in the opening couple of seasons. So we went to Crystal Palace. Obviously, it looks like in real life as we're recording this that he's on his way to Bayern Munich. But we went to Crystal Palace, picked up Michael Elise, can play wide right, can play behind the front man, really just to add some depth behind Saka for that right-hand side role, along with Dembele. Look at the tactics we're starting season 3 with. There's not much of a change. In fact, it's exactly the same formation. We look at the best 11. So Bellingham goes straight into the team. Gahey goes into the bench. And Elise doesn't even actually make the bench, but I'm sure he'll be well involved throughout the season. And then unsurprisingly, again, we're big favourites for the title. For some reason, despite the fact that we've dominated the first 2 seasons, the odds have come tumbling down. We started season 1 at 10-1 on. We were 4-1 on in the second season, and we're 3-1 in the third season. The odds are getting longer. It's as if the rest of the pack's coming closer to us. And now we don't actually have full Media Dream 11. We've only got 9 of the 11. Van der Sar on the right from Monaco, and Merry Demiral, who's obviously signed for Rennes at the end of his contract in Saudi Arabia, make up the rest of the 11. As far as the season is concerned, we didn't get off to the best of starts. We lost the Trophy de Champion to Monaco 1-0, 92nd minute winner from Breel Mbolo. But as far as the league's concerned, it's been pretty outstanding. First up, Auxerre at home, 6-2 victory with a hat-trick from Jude Bellingham. We followed that up by a 5-0 victory at home against Clermont with doubles from Felix and Osimhen. We beat Marseille 2-0 at home with a couple of late goals from Marquinhos and Nuno Mendes. We then beat Toulouse 5-0 at home and then went away to Monaco in the league and got some measure of revenge for the Trophy de Champion loss with a 4-2 victory with a brace from Osimhen and goals from Bellingham and Saka. Looking ahead to the Champions League for this season, we've actually had a bit of a better draw than last season in the league phase. We've got Real Madrid to start up, and we've got Leverkusen, Atletico, Napoli and Dortmund, but really I think with the squad we've got, we should be winning most of those games in the league phase of the Champions League this season. So let's go ahead, simulate season 3 and see if the signing of Jude Bellingham can get us any closer to a Champions League victory. The end of season 3, and that is much, much more like it. Again, we've won the league, we've managed to win the Champions League, and we've won the Coupe de France as well. In the league, obviously, as you can see, we've been top the whole season. We've only lost 1 game all season, which was away at Lens, again, like we did in the first season, who finished 3rd. But we've ended up winning the title by 19 points. Bukayo Saka, again, top average rating. Warren Zaire-Emery right up there as well. Osimhen with 20 goals in the league, Saka with 13 assists, Donnarumma with 19 clean sheets this season. Champions League, the league phase went great, unbeaten through the league phase. We beat Porto, Red Star, Napoli, Atletico, Young Boys and Real Madrid, and we drew with Dortmund and Leverkusen. Obviously finishing the top 8 meant we missed the knockout playoff round and went straight into the last 16. In the last 16 we were drawn against Milan. We won the first leg 1-0, won the second leg 3-1 to go through 4-1 on aggregate. The quarter-final, we beat Chelsea 4-1 in the first leg and then drew the second leg 2-2 to go through 6-3 on aggregate. In the semi-final, we lost the first leg against Man City 4-3, but then in the second leg, a Bukayo Saka hat-trick enabled us to win that 4-0 to go through 7-4 on aggregate. And then the final against Inter Milan, we're attacking Vitinha on the edge of the box, drifts across the box, into the box, all the way around the defence, and fires past Jan Sommer to open the scoring for us. And then Nuno Mendes down the left-hand side, still in the first half. Fabian into Zaire Emery. Finds Hakimi racing forward. Fires past Sommer. Might have got a bit of a deflection, but that's 2-0 up. And then they're attacking. Dumfries crosses towards the back post. Xerxes finds Barella, who fires past Donnarumma to make it 2-1. And Dumfries to Çalhanoğlu. DeMarco flicks it on. Xerxes finds Barella again. Shot from the edge of the area. And that made it 2-2 with 25 minutes left. But shortly after that, Hakimi down the right-hand side pulls it back to Dembele. His shot takes a bit of a deflection. It looks like it's gone in off Osimhen in the end and gave us a 3-2 victory. And we actually even managed to miss a penalty after that. 3-2. We edged the stats as well. And we've picked up the Champions League trophy. And then the Coupe de France, we came away with a 3-0 victory away at Créteil in the 9th round. We just about snuck past Lille in the 10th round. Again, a narrow victory, this time over Lens in the 11th round. Quarter-final was a pretty comfortable victory over Lyon. The semi-final, again, pretty comfortable against Nice. And then the final, a pretty comfortable 3-1 victory against Rennes. Early goal from Carlos Soler, Jude Bellingham just before half-time, and then Victor Osimhen just after half-time. They got a late goal back, but if you look at the match stats, we pretty much dominated everything there. And then another deserved trophy. And we end the season with a treble. Looking at the squad stats, 35 goals this season for Osimhen, 21 goals and 22 assists for Saka, 19 goals and 11 assists for Bellingham, and Warren Zaire-Emery with 13 goals and 16 assists. Felix and Simons also in double figures for goals, and Hakimi in double figures for assists as well. And it was just, that season went just about as well as could have been hoped for. And then looking ahead, we've got 169 million in the transfer budget, 828,000 in the wage budget to try and improve this squad ahead of season 4. So, on to season 4, and we've lost a couple of players at the end of the contract. Unfortunately, Xavi Simons has left, wouldn't sign a new contract. He's gone to Juventus, and Nordi Mukiele's gone to China at the end of his contract as well. And then we sold some players who weren't really getting game time. We sold Skriniar and Lucas Hernandez, so we're a bit short centre-half wise. And then Ugarte really hasn't had a look in through the first 3 seasons, so he's gone as well. And what we've done is brought in a couple of defenders. Firstly, Matthias de Ligt's come in just because obviously we've got rid of 2 centre-halves in the summer there. So we just needed an extra one just to make sure we had the balance and enough centre-halves available, especially because Marquinhos is getting on a bit now as well. And then we didn't really have any cover for Hakimi, especially with Mukiele going. So we've gone to Bayer Leverkusen and we've brought in Jeremy Frimpong. Should just really give us an attacking threat from right back in the same way that Hakimi has done so far for us. Good cover for him. And yeah, decent player that we've managed to bring in. Tactically, we're sticking with the same formation. And if we pick the best 11, it's exactly as we kind of expect. De Ligt to come straight into the team in centre-half. But otherwise, it's the bulk of the team that won us the Champions League last season. Looking at the season preview now, everyone else seems to have drifted a bit. Monaco and then we're getting a bit closer in the odds. The last couple of seasons, but now the next best is 20-1. We're 9-2 on. Again, we're back to now having 10 of the Media Dream 11 with the addition of De Ligt and with Frimpong there into it. And we've started the season pretty well. Trophy de Champion, we beat Monaco 2-1. We did go a goal behind with an own goal from Vitinha, but Felix and Nuno Mendes with the goals. Opening day of the season, we hammered San Etienne 8-1 at home. We followed that up by beating Juventus 2-0 in the UEFA Super Cup. And then the one disappointing performance of the season so far, we drew 1-1 with Lyon. Saka picked up a bit of a knock in that game. It required a late-ish equaliser from Felix to get us the point. We then went away to Bordeaux and won 5-0. We beat Montpellier 4-1 at home. And we went away to Angers and won 4-2. We were 4-0 up at half-time and eased off a bit in the second half. Looking ahead to the Champions League, we've got an okay draw. I think as far as the league phase is concerned, we've got Arsenal and Real Madrid. Other than that, we've got a pretty decent run of games. So hopefully we can finish in the top 8 again and just go straight into the last 16. So let's go ahead and simulate season 4 and see if we can retain our Champions League trophy. And so the end of season 4, we've won the league again and again comfortably. Champions League, we made it to the semi-finals and we've won the Coupe de France again. As you can see from the league, we've been top pretty much since, I think, game week 3 of the season. I mean, we just dominated the statistics. We've got the top 3 average rating. We've got the top 3 goal scorers. We've got the top 2 assists. The one concern is obviously we've conceded a lot more goals, or at least we've not kept as many clean sheets. 14 clean sheets for Donnarumma this season. We did only concede 26 goals in 34 games, but we did score 137, which is what accounts for our 111 plus 111 goal difference there. Saka with 10 man of the matches, Elise with 6. Just outstanding a season as far as the league's concerned. 2 losses at home to Monaco and away against Toulouse, both qualifying for European places, and just 2 draws, Lens and Lyon. Champions League phase, we did okay. We managed to finish in the top 8 to qualify for the last 16. We won 5 games without conceding a goal in those 5, beating Dinamo, Galatasaray, Sporting, Maccabi Haifa and Arsenal. We drew with Salzburg and Benfica in some high-scoring games, and we lost to Real Madrid. In the round of 16, we were drawn against Valencia. We won the first leg 3-1, second leg 2-0 to go through 5-1 on aggregate. Quarter-final, we again were drawn against Man City. We lost the first leg 3-1, won the second leg 5-1 to go through 6-4 on aggregate. And then in the semi-final, we were drawn against Liverpool. The first leg was drawn 3-3. They won the second leg 2-1 with an 88th minute Diego Jota goal. He was then sent off in the 90th minute as well, but that was enough to see them through to the final, where they were beaten by Milan. And then the Coupe de France, our first round, round 9, we won 16-0. The 10th round, we beat Amiens 4-1. The 11th round, we beat Nantes 3-0. Quarter-final, we beat Caen 3-1. The semi-final, we beat Lorient 3-0. And in the final, pretty comfortable victory over Bordeaux, although we left it a bit late to get goals. I mean, we've had, as you can see from the match last, we had loads and loads of chances. Goncalo Ramos opening the scoring just before the hour, and then Carlos Soler and Michael Elise getting goals after that. Looking at the squad for the season, so Osimhen 31 goals, Bellingham 26 goals and 14 assists, Zaire Emery with 24 and 13, Bukayo Saka with 23 goals, 32 assists. Felix had 17 goals and 7 assists. Michael Elise only started 23 games, another 20 off the bench, and had 15 goals and 18 assists. Ramos and Soler were in double figures for goals despite not starting very much. And Mendes and Hakimi wide in the full-back area with loads of assists, and Vitinha also in double figures for assists as well. And looking ahead to season 5, we've got just under 100 million in the transfer budget, but nearly 1.5 million in the wage budget. So we should hopefully be able to improve the squad ahead of season 5 and give it one last go at winning in the Champions League. And so ahead of season 5, the final season of the rebuild, we've had probably the most ins and outs that we've had at any point during the rebuild. A lot of players left at the end of the contract, so Marquinhos went, Ramos, Safanev, Dembele, Barcola, Moscardo all went on free transfer at the end of the contracts. Beraldo was another one as well. And then in terms of sort of players from the first team that we sold. Hakimi we sold to Man City for 65 million, and Felix we sold to Barcelona for 60 million. And then the players that came in, so we were initially looking for a backup for Donnarumma, with Safanov leaving at the end of his contract. So initially we signed Mads Hermansen, because we tried to sign Diego Costa and the wages were very prohibitive in terms of bringing him in at the point that we made the deal for Hermansen. However, a couple of days after his contract ended, Diego Costa did agree to come in. So we've now got Donnarumma, Diego Costa, with then Hermansen as a third choice goalkeeper. Also at the end of a contract, we brought in Joshua Kimmich after a spell in Saudi Arabia, just to add some really strength and depth everywhere. Can play defensive midfield, can play in the midfield, can play right back. And then we splashed the cash on some more players that have played for Bayern Munich in the past. Firstly, we brought in Jamal Musiala from Liverpool for 121 million. Can play behind the front man, can play out wide on the left, can play on the right, can play through the middle if we need him to as well. Just a real top quality player. And then we only had Nuno Mendes as a left back. So we went in and signed Alphonso Davies, and now hopefully we've got two top class left backs that can challenge each other for a place in the team and drive the standards up everywhere. Tactically, the formation's been working, so we're sticking with the same formation. If we look at the best 11, so Kimmich goes straight into the team, Musiala goes straight into the team in place of where João Felix would have been. Looking at the season preview, 4-1 on, we've still got 10 of the Media Dream 11, despite the fact that some of the ones in the Media Dream 11, like Diego Costa, probably based on what our best 11 was there when we looked at the tactics, aren't going to get too many games. And as far as how the season started, it got off to a horrible start in the Trophy to Champion. We lost 3-0. Jude Bellingham got one goal. Kimmich missed a penalty. Just everything that could have gone wrong in that game did go wrong. But we've started the league pretty well. We beat Nice 4-0 at home with an Osman hat-trick. We won 4-0 away to Lille with Osman picking up another 2. We beat Lens 5-1 away from home. We won 5-1 at home to Le Havre. And we beat Monaco 4-1 in the league away to get a bit of revenge for the Trophy de Champion. So far this season, Osman's already got 8 goals in just 6 games. And it's 8 goals in 5 league games as well. Looking ahead to the Champions League, and we've got what on paper looks a pretty tough league phase with Real Madrid, Juventus, Arsenal, Inter. But hopefully we should definitely qualify in the top 24 to make the knockout stages, and hopefully we can finish in the top 8 to make it through to the last 16 and have one more shot at winning another Champions League trophy. So let's go ahead and simulate the 5th and final season of this rebuild. And so the end of the 5th and final season, and what a season it's been. As you can see, we've topped the league the whole way through. We've not lost a game. We've won the Champions League and we've won the Coupe de France. League-wise, again, we've dominated the average ratings. We've dominated the goals and assists as well. Osman with 25 goals, Saka with 22. Saka also with 16 assists, Kimmich with 14, Vitinha with 13. Alphonso Davies and Saka joint top of the man of the matches. Donnarumma, the most clean sheets in the league. The 2 games we drew were both away from home against Montpellier and Rennes, meaning yet again we've won every game at home this season. Champions League, the league phase was outstanding. We won 7, drew 1, beating Nice, Roma, Inter, Arsenal, Slavia Prague, Juve and Real Madrid. Drawing just 1 game away at Ajax, who just about snuck into the knockout stages. So that was an interesting one given the other teams that we'd beaten. Obviously finishing top of the league phase meant we skipped the knockout playoff round. Into the round of 16, we played Monaco. We won the first leg 6-3, the second leg 2-0 to go through 8-3 on aggregate. Quarter-final against Real Madrid, we won the first leg 2-0, hammered them 4-1 in the second leg to go through 6-1 on aggregate. Semi-final against Arsenal, drew the first leg 1-1, won the second leg 2-0 to go through to a final against Barcelona. We got off to the best start. A Kimmich corner to the back post, Bellingham towering header, and that was the only goal of the game for us to win the Champions League 1-0. I mean, we created more chances. It was probably a pretty even game, but thankfully we got that early goal and came away with the trophy. And the Coupe de France, 9th round, a 2-0 victory against Brest. The 10th round, we hammered Red Star 7-0. The 11th round, we hammered Clermont 9-0. Quarter-final, we beat Monaco 3-1. In the semi-final, we hammered Rennes 4-0. And then the final against Lens, we won 2-1. They took a lead in the first half. We needed a Frimpong equaliser and then a Saka winner in the 90th minute to see us win another trophy this season. And then looking at the squad, so Osimhen 38 goals, Saka 31 and 24 assists, Elise 25 and 14 assists, Bellingham 18 and 18, Musiala with 16 goals, Zaire Emery with 13 goals and 13 assists, Kimmich with 13 goals and 17 assists, Vitinha with 11 goals and 18 assists, Alphonso Davies and Jeremy Frimpong, again, the fullbacks providing assists in numbers there as well. And after 5 seasons, I would say that was a pretty successful rebuild job there. We've won the league every season. We've won the Coupe de France 3 times. We've won the Champions League twice. The first time that PSG have ever won the trophy, despite all that money that they've spent. But there we have it, a pretty successful rebuild. And I think we've shown that there's potentially life after Kylian Mbappe for PSG. It just means that you need to spend a hell of a lot of money on the quality of players that we spent it on. I don't know that they're going to go down that route in the near future. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll join us for the next rebuild.